The judge has ruled on the protective order. Who won? Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
Breaking news in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal. I'm going to read the 9
posts an order on this issue of the protective order. And if you could just set up for us, Lively had some arguments about whether they wanted the protective order or not, and Baldoni had some arguments about whether he wanted the protective order.
In a world where celebrity feuds often unfold in front of cameras and across social media, it's rare to see a legal battle between stars escalate to the level of Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. But when it comes to these two Hollywood figures, nothing is ever as it seems, and the courtrooms have become the latest stage for their drama. As the battle unfolded, both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni found themselves facing a tangled mess of public scrutiny, confidential documents, and accusations that threatened their very reputations. When a judge finally made a groundbreaking ruling in the case, Hollywood and fans alike were left reeling from the implications.
Ends with Us co-star Justin Baldoni sexually harassed her, causing her severe emotional distress.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
The roots of the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni conflict trace back to the early stages of a promising film collaboration. At first, everything seemed smooth, almost picture perfect. Two Hollywood stars coming together for a groundbreaking movie. Under the banner of Wayfarer Entertainment, the project was It Ends With Us, a daring and unique film that was rumored to offer a mix of intense emotional storytelling and cinematic spectacle. Blake Lively, having recently shown off her range, with films like Simple Favor and The Shallows, was the perfect fit for the lead role, but where things started to unravel was during the production discussions. At its core, the dispute seemed to stem from creative differences over how the film would be executed. Lively, known for her sharp eye for detail and commitment to the character she portrays, reportedly had issues with certain aspects of the script and her character's portrayal. There were whispers that Lively wanted to add more depth to her role, but Wayfarer Entertainment wasn't fully on board with these changes.
And there's a lot that's happened in 72 days.
Yeah, there has. I know we were just talking about that. It's been like a lightning fast.
Things started to escalate quickly from there. The situation got so intense that Lively filed a lawsuit accusing Baldoni and his company of bad faith negotiations, while also demanding the release of confidential documents that she believed were critical to understanding the direction of the film and the treatment of her character.
After the Gossip Girl alum and husband Ryan Reynolds applied for a protective order earlier this month to keep sensitive information from circulating to the public, a judge for the Southern District of New York has approved a modified version of the order.
As the lawsuit unfolded, it became clear that this wasn't just about a film project anymore. This had become a personal battle. Blake Lively, who has always been protective of her private life, found herself in a position where she had to defend her boundaries and ensure her family safety. A situation that only added more fuel to the flames. Kid has a mental issue, or Lively, whose private life with husband Ryan Reynolds and their young children has always been fiercely protected, was especially concerned about what kind of confidential information could potentially be exposed during the court proceedings. The stakes were not just about a movie, they were about safeguarding their family's privacy.
Actually, both sides wanted a protective order, and they both wanted to be able to mark documents as confidential, which means that they would be shared with the attorneys.
In an industry where celebrity relationships and personal lives are often laid bare for public consumption, Lively wasn't willing to let her family become collateral damage. She wanted to ensure that certain private documents, potentially embarrassing, emails, text messages, and other private exchanges were not made public. This was particularly concerning because with every new document revealed in court, more personal details would inevitably slip out. Some of those details could jeopardize her reputation in the industry and, more importantly, her family's well-being.
Attorney Brian Friedman says he's thankful the judge denied parts of the, quote, overboard protective order. Telling E! News in a statement, "We are fully in agreement with the court's decision to provide a narrow scope of protections to categories such as private mental health."
On the flip side, Justin Baldoni had his concerns as a public figure. He himself had worked hard to build a positive reputation in Hollywood, especially as the co-founder of WFAR Entertainment. He had a responsibility to his company and the people he worked with. As much as the privacy of celebrities like Lively was at stake, Baldoni felt that the truth needed to be uncovered, specifically the reasons behind the breakdown of their professional relationship. There were reports that Baldoni's team wanted to reveal certain aspects of Lively's behavior during the film's pre-production stages that they felt might make the public question her commitment to the project. To them, this legal battle was about getting the truth out, especially regarding any behind-the-scenes tension.
Yeah, well, you already leaked these trade secrets of the PR people in the New York Times, which you didn't
Inside
have
a
any rights to.
Hollywood smear machine.
As both sides prepared for the battle in the courtroom, the media had already begun to take sides. The public was captivated by the thought of two major stars clashing in such a high-stakes legal dispute. The press feasted on every new leak, every piece of gossip, and every new document that was made available, and in true Hollywood fashion, both Lively and Boney became unwilling. Pawns in the media game.
I think on the Lively side, I think that they probably feel like they didn't win. If I was on the Lively side, I'm like, well, we got a few things, but it isn't really what we wanted. How would you feel on both sides?
After days of intense legal wrangling, the court finally delivered its ruling on Blake Lively's request for a protective order, a decision that was hotly anticipated by both sides. On the surface, this seemed like a win for Team Lively. But as with most legal decisions, the reality is far more nuanced and complex.
To unilaterally designate documents as attorney's eyes only. And that's a higher designation than confidential, because what it means is only the attorneys could see those documents, not the parties. And her attorneys wanted to be able to designate documents as attorney's eyes only unilaterally, so they could decide.
The judge granted Lively's request to classify certain sensitive documents as attorney's eyes only, which is a legal designation intended to protect highly confidential information from being made public. This ruling allows Lively's legal team to shield materials that are deemed too sensitive for public consumption, such as personal medical records and private details about Lively's celebrity friends.
That they got something that they wanted. I do think Baldoni got the better of this, but I still think Blake Lively's team wanted the ability to protect some information. And
at first glance, this protective order may appear to be a straightforward victory for Lively, as it provides a level of privacy protection that could potentially benefit her case in the long run. But while the decision safeguards certain confidential materials, it also sets the stage for a new set of legal challenges, and Team Baldoni isn't backing down without a fight.
Blake Lively, her team wanted to have a rubber stamp that said attorney's eyes only, and they wanted to use it in their discretion on any document they wanted.
Yeah.
And that presumably would make it an attorney's eyes only designation, unless Baldoni's lawyers went to the federal court and said, hey, we don't think this AEO designation is appropriate.
The ruling, while seemingly favorable to Lively, came with significant limitations. The judge made it clear that not all documents could be shielded under the attorney's eyes. Only designation. The court imposed a stringent standard for the classification of documents for any material to be kept. Under wraps, Lively's team must prove that disclosing the information would lead to a significant business, financial, or privacy injury. This means that the burden of proof now falls squarely on Team Y, Lively, to demonstrate why these sensitive documents should remain confidential.
Instituting. And of course, you have A, trade secrets, B, security measures, C, medical information. But look at D, highly personal and intimate information about third parties.
This ruling is far from a carte blanche victory in essence. Lively's legal team must navigate a minefield of legal arguments and prove on a case-by-case basis that each document merits the attorney's eyes. Only designation. This isn't an easy task, as each piece of evidence will be scrutinized carefully. Lively's team now faces the challenge of justifying why certain documents should remain hidden and ensuring that they meet the high legal standards set by the judge. From the perspective of Baldwin's legal team, this ruling offers an opening rather than blindly accepting Lively's claims for privacy. Baldwin's team now has the opportunity to contest each attempt to seal documents. They can challenge Lively lawyers every step of the way, scrutinizing the basis for every request to keep something hidden. This could lead to a lengthy and contentious legal process filled with even more courtroom drama and public speculation. For Baldoni. This ruling represents an opportunity to press forward with his case in ways that he previously couldn't. Now his team can demand that more documents be made available for public scrutiny, forcing Lively's camp to defend each claim they make regarding which materials should be kept confidential. In many ways, the battle over what can and can't be sealed has only just begun. The attorney's eyes. Only designation is merely a temporary barrier, one that can be chipped away through legal maneuvering and persistent challenges. This means that Baldwin's team is now in a strong position to apply pressure, forcing Lively to reveal information she may have hoped to keep hidden. For example, if Lively's team fails to demonstrate that certain documents truly meet the standard of significant injury, Baldwin's team could argue for their public release. This strategy of contesting each document could lead to a prolonged legal battle, keeping the case in the spotlight for much longer than Lively might have expected. And in the court of public opinion, even the smallest leaks of information can fuel the fire, creating new headlines and potentially damaging Lively's image further.